So, Switch 2, as you've probably seen, very black. I don't know what you think about the Switch 2. I don't know if you are excited, if you don't really care. It gave me a very weird impression, to be honest. Not weird. Two things I saw about the Switch 2. First, it looks much more serious than before, right? Look at that, it's all black. Most of the color is hidden inside of the connector, and the whole console feels a bit more serious, right? So to me it's surprising, because the Switch, when you look at the Nintendo Switch, the first impression of the Nintendo Switch is something very colorful, right? There is you remember this distinctive choice of colors, the blue and the red. It creates something in your brain, even if of course there are multiple colors and stuff, and even the Switch Lite, right? It's very colorful, which I think is a good thing, because the Switch is aimed at many people, especially children, but not only children, of course. And for some reason, the Switch 2, because it's all black, mostly black, it looks a bit more serious to me. I don't know if this is a big deal or not. The Switch looks more playful. Yeah, no surprises and no real info yet. I only saw the Nintendo trailer. Yeah, most of what we know is coming from the leaks, to be honest. For example, the price is known, and it's coming from the leaks. We don't have a lot of info. We do know a few things, though. And most of them are exactly what the leaks said. So, for example, if you look at the Joy-Con when it's open, you will see that you have IR sensors in here. Look at this. In here, boom. I will do a screenshot, that way we can see. In here, you can clearly see there are IR sensors, and actually you have two of them. And this is because you can use the Joy-Cons as a mouse. And why do you have two of them? Some are speculating that it's going to help understanding the rotation, tracking the rotation of the Joy-Con. That could be useful if you want to use it as a paintbrush or something like that, maybe. So this is definitely interesting. This is definitely something that is going to be a bit new. And I think they're doing that because they know that the Switch has to be this console that can play pretty much everything. The idea, of course, because it's like limited to Nintendo stuff, but it's a console that should be able to play many things, right? And for example, for all of the games that are maybe simulations, or like you can think of Civ maybe, or games like that where you have a lot of management to do, having a mouse would be much easier, and that can open up a bunch of new applications, I think, for a console. And so I think it's cool. I don't like the connectors personally. I really don't like them. I think to me it screams like it's going to break. Of course they're probably doing a lot of testing and stuff, but I'm not happy with connectors like that. Of course we have to see how it's going to play when how it's going to be when the console is released and people can actually go and test it. But this to me looks like a failure point, a very easy failure point, much more than the rail system that you have in the previous console. If they made it a little plain boring, then they can sell the colorful Joy-Con separately. I see a lot of people saying that. And it's definitely true that they will sell other Joy-Cons that will be themed, right? They're always doing that. But I'm not sure, to be honest, I'm not sure they're doing that on purpose. I don't think they need that. Like, the Switch has been a huge commercial success. the Switch 2 is probably going to be another huge commercial success, especially since you basically have all of the Switch catalog, pretty much all of the Switch catalog available. I just think that maybe they want to appeal to more people, and the thing is, since the Switch release, they now have some competitors in the handheld market. When you think about it, the Steam Deck has been released, and a bunch of other handheld, especially Windows-based, have been released, and more are going to be released using SteamOS. So there's a lot of competition in the handheld market. And so maybe to appeal to more people, you need something that looks a bit more like a real device and not a toy. That's just speculation, of course. I don't know what they think. But to me, it sounds like it would be more that than trying to sell you a colorful Joy-Con. But I don't know. How much will it cost? I think it's 400. I think the leak have been saying 400. It looks more like what I would have thought a Switch Pro would look like. It's more of an upgrade and a new console. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely more a Switch Pro than a Switch 2. Definitely. There's a way better shot in the trailer, and there's only one, but it's just a prism, just like with a mouse. Are you sure it's only one? I show a screenshot and I thought it was two. Are you sure it's just one? But maybe you're right. Okay. But yeah, the shot in the trailer is better. As for color seriousness, my launch day Switch is all gray black too. Yes, I mean I have the gray version of the Switch. But even not just the colors, the Switch one looks more like a toy, to be honest. It looks more like a toy. I don't know why. There is something to it. And the fact that it's not entirely black... The fact that the Switch 1 is not entirely black, right? It's gray and black. I feel like it makes it look a bit more like a toy. Just a bit more. You see what I mean? It's the feeling that I got when I saw the announcement. That's just the feeling that I got. Maybe it's not the case. I guess for a launch video, they need to look different than the original Switch, so color changes make that easier. Yeah, that's true. It's also a good way to easily identify which is which, and that might be useful. Yeah, you're right. Better start saving up. Yeah. Alex Pera or John Jones? No muscle mass? I don't know what you're referring to. I don't know who those people are. Are they going to release a new game that'll need the version 2 to push for sales? I think they looked to have a new Mario Kart running on that video. Yes, a new Mario Kart, but to be honest, I doubt, Vex, I really doubt that Mario Kart will be the game pushing the Switch 2. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the next Metroid is going to be Switch 2 only. Because it's going to use the more powerful graphics and stuff. So I think the next Metroid is definitely going to be a Switch 2 only version. But I don't think Mario Kart would need that, and I think it would be stupid for them to only release it on Switch 2. Right? Their goal is to maximize money, probably. So having backward compatibility is, yeah. Is there already a Metroid on Switch? I am not sure. But the Metroid, what is it? Metroid 4? Or, I don't know. That they announced a while ago. I think it's announced only for the Switch 2. Fruit Superman, hello. And also, my 2 cents on that is they are probably going to... I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but either they're going to update both Zelda Breath of the Wild and TOTK. Either they're going to update it, or they're going to make a definitive version, or like an enhanced version, like whatever name they want to find. but they're definitely going to find a way to make sure that you can play those two huge games that sold incredibly well on the first console. They're definitely going to make sure that those two games now run so much better on the Switch 2, and they're going to carry the Switch 2. Like some people would buy the Switch 2 just for that, just to be able to play Breath of the Wild and TOTK in like 60 FPS. I'm sure about that. So they're definitely going to use that as a way to push for the new console. It's not like a PS4 to PS5 or Xbox One X to Xbox Series X. I felt Nintendo has gotten less inventive. I have a PS Portal and Asus ROG Ally and think both are leaps and bounds better than the Switch. That's true. I think the difficulty now with the Switch is at the time when it came out, it was probably quite innovative, right? Having this ability to be both a handheld and a home console, especially with like the detachable Joy-Cons that are bringing this innovative way of like having multiple controllers or interacting with the controllers differently or whatever. I think this was really cool at the time. And now with this Switch 2, you don't have that anymore. There's nothing else making you say, wow, this is so much different, I want to try. But Nintendo is not just about being innovative, right? It would be a mistake to think that Nintendo is selling only because they are innovative. It's not true. Nintendo is selling because it's Nintendo, and they have so many cool games that you can only play on the Nintendo. It's like a very different genre. It's like a very different console than the PS or than the Xbox, right? And your PS Portal, for example, is really cool, but the PS Portal is attached to a PlayStation, whereas the Switch is the console, which is very different, right? For that price point, there is nothing that can be compared to it. It has cloud gaming now. Yeah, but come on. You know it's different, right? You know it's different. You have to have... Do you have to have like PS Plus or something to use it? And even it means you have to have an internet connection when you play in the train or in the car as a child or on holidays or whatever. You want to have your games on the console and that's it. Nintendo is still catering to a very specific kind of gamer that is either here for the specific games of the Nintendo or because it's like a family console, much more than an Xbox or a PS, I think. Picture number 1 in live. Okay, I can check that. For the one list for the light sensor and one list for the light source. If you look at the bottom of your mouse, it's rather likely you'll see a very similar prism with 2 lenses. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right. Okay, fair enough. I think you're right. Let's go back to here. Yeah, okay. It's just a normal. So just a mouse acting as a mouse. Okay. So yeah, nothing groundbreaking, right? But the thing is, Nintendo is a company, right? It is a company. They are a company. They want to make money. The Switch 1 made a ton of money, but the Switch 1 is incredibly outdated, right? The console is incredibly outdated. The internals are outdated. So you have a bigger screen, you have much more power. That's enough, in fact. That's enough. You don't need anything else. And I think they also learned from their previous mistakes, right? Remember the Wii? The Wii was a huge success. It was innovative. It was quite new and stuff. Then they tried to innovate again with the Wii U, and it was a huge flop. So I feel like now they might be a bit more conservatives, and they might be thinking, okay, we have something that works really well, unless we have something incredibly different that is going to outsell everything else, we should just make a better version, because everyone is asking for a better version, right? Everyone is asking for that. I'm the first to ask for that, just to have to make no optimization on the console and have my games run easily on the console. It's still geared more towards kids, in my opinion. Yes, towards kids and towards casual gamers, like families and stuff like that. I don't know if it was the case for you, but when I was a child, my parents that were not very knowledgeable about games and things like that in general, they had this impression that Nintendo was more kids friendly. For them, Nintendo was okay for a child, whereas having an Xbox or a PlayStation might give you access to some games that you're not really supposed to play. You see what I mean? Nintendo has this just with the form factor, sometimes it looks like it's made for kids and for family. It's built a certain reputation. Yeah, it's a certain reputation they've built. Yeah, exactly. But there are two. It's been 25 years since I last played a game with 2 mice. The Settlers. You can play with 2 mices? Oh, but Smacks, it's also this idea of like being able to use it as kind of a mouse-like experience, right? A mouse-like experience, but not necessarily a mouse. I'm pretty sure they can come up with interesting concepts. And usually what they do is they build a game like a Mario or something that will use this feature. So it's probably also, it might be for you to play with 2 mice, but it might also be just to accommodate for 2 people, right? To see a real culture implementation for stuff like RTS. Yeah, totally. I think it would be a thing. I think they need that if they want to make a console that is even more the only console you need, right? I don't think the Nintendo Switch is sold that way, right? They're never saying it. They're never saying the Switch is the only console you need. But it's kind of how people feel, I think. Especially a more casual audience and maybe children's and families, right? You buy the handheld, but at the same time it can be plugged in and you can play on the TV with the family and with like maybe the brothers and sisters. And I think this is a huge thing, right? That of course is replicable with something like the Steam Deck or maybe with the ROG Ally or whatever, but still, like the Switch is like made for that. Even the fact that as a parent, if you have 2 children, you could buy 1 Switch and they could play at 2 players just using the Joy-Cons. You don't necessarily need to buy another controller, and it costs a fuck ton of money, right? Let's remind ourselves that it cost a fuck ton of money. And I remember when I was a child, buying another controller was really expensive, and it's something you have to think about. Do I really want that second controller? Am I going to play with other people? So the fact that the console comes with like 2 controllers at the same time, it's quite good, right? So we'll not get a Switch U next year, shame. Yeah, no Switch U. This time the games must be groundbreaking. I think the games will have the ability to be a bit more up-to-date. I don't think the games will be groundbreaking. I don't think you should expect the games to be groundbreaking. But I think you should expect the games to be a bit more up-to-date with the standards, right? Like, the games are probably going to run at 60 FPS. Which is better than 20. I'm 42 lol, I've been through all of them. Yeah. Settlers 1 and 2 was for multiplayer 2. Okay, it was first game player 1 default to mouse and player 2 to joystick. But if you have a second mouse, you could use both. Wow. Don't forget, it's the only current console actually coming with 2 controllers out of the box. Yeah, exactly, Smax. Exactly what I said. Yeah, totally. Exactly. And for a price point that is relatively low, I would say, especially the Switch. The Switch, you could get it on sale for like relatively cheap with like a new even probably with bundled with a game and stuff. So yeah, that's something you have to think about. I've never felt Nintendo has been on the storefront of gaming since Xbox and PlayStation came out. Don't get me wrong, I have always had a Nintendo because I loved Zelda games, but I don't play it every day and even every week like I do my PlayStation and Xbox. I spend more time... Yeah. Totally, Mars. Totally. I'm the same as you, Mars. I'm the same as you. I've owned a lot of Nintendo consoles, sorry. I started with the N64, and I loved... and I still love the Nintendo consoles. But of course, especially as a PC player, with a Steam Deck now... To me, it makes no sense to play on the Switch, because it's obviously an inferior console, and because the games are fucking expensive... Right? Most Nintendo games are expensive and they don't get on heavy sales. So yeah, as an adult player and as a gamer, I much prefer to not play on the Switch, of course. But not everyone is like that. So I totally understand why for some people it makes total sense. Hey KV. Milo, sorry. Is this the new Switch ad? It is the new Switch, yes. I'm thinking about buying the new Switch. Do you all think it's recommendable? I don't have any consoles at the moment. I think, Milos, honestly, depends what kind of games you play. I think a real contender to that is the Steam Deck. For roughly the same price, you can get a Steam Deck. The Steam Deck will be much more versatile because it's just a fucking PC, so you can run pretty much everything. If you have Steam games, you basically play them for free instead of rebuying them on the Switch. It's much more extensive. You can modify it much more easily. You can... Yeah, it's so much different. So if you play alone and you already have games on Steam and you play mostly PC games, Steam Deck makes so much more sense. But then, if you enjoy Nintendo games and you want to play them normally without having to emulate and stuff like that, of course it makes sense to have a Switch. I feel like it's a difficult recommendation to own a Switch as your sole console, to be honest. Or you have to have a lot of disposable income, I feel like. So personally, I'm not going to buy the Switch 2, right? As a gamer, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to buy the Switch 2 as a developer. That's it. I don't, as a player, I don't really care. I'm more interested in the Switch 2 because it's now more powerful and stuff. But still, I'm limited to Nintendo games. Whereas with the Steam Deck, I can practically do whatever I want, which is huge. Most Nintendo games aren't built around player retention. Yeah, totally. They're meant to be something you play once and you forget about it, but yeah, like an experience. There's one thing I'm really annoyed, and I've been for a long time now, having to choose which platform you're going to buy your game for. Yeah, that's very annoying. It's always a nightmare on PC because of the marketplace and launchers, but it's worse with having an extra device, a console. So that's why the Steam Deck for me is the best of both worlds, because on PC, I default to buying my games on Steam. I know it's not ideal, I don't like the monopoly of Steam and stuff like that. I really believe it's a problem in the end, but it's so convenient buying your things on Steam that I just buy them on Steam and I play them on the Steam Deck. I now play most of my games on the Steam Deck. Does the Steam Deck have the ability to use Xbox Game Pass, Epic, and other stuff besides Steam? So Epic, yes, you can use the Epic Heroic launcher, and it works fine for most of the things, I think. Steam, no problem. Itch, you can also play Itch. And Xbox Game Pass, there's no real integration, so what you can do is you can stream the games using the ultimate version. If you have the ultimate version of the Game Pass, you can stream the games using a browser. And the experience is somewhat seamless once you set up everything. So it's one of the best compromises, I think. My Asus ROG Ally has Steam Epic, yeah, but it also has Windows. And just for that, I don't want to buy the ROG Ally. And also the price is, it's expensive, right? No? Is it more expensive? Which version do you have? You have the ROG Ally, this one, because there's a new X version. Oh, the X version is so fucking costly. Hello, Wollen. Yeah, of course, everyone's talking about the Switch 2. Of course we are. Of course we are. I've never really got the Nintendo thing. I grew up with 8 and 16-bit computers, so I never had a console. I do now have a Wii and Switch, but there's more for the kids than me, so probably get a Switch too, but it'll be as a father of teenagers. Yeah, I see what you mean. I always struggle to decide where I should play my game. At the moment, I take the decisions based on 2 things. Am I going to be the one playing it mostly? If so, PC connected to the video projector. Are we going to play it with more than 2 people? Then the Switch, because we have two pro controllers and all the Joy-Cons. Interesting. Yeah, I don't have that problem. Because as a developer, making my first game a local multiplayer, I have 4 Xbox controllers. So my decision is easy, right? My PC is made for gaming, that's the first thing, and then I have the Steam Deck, which can support the Xbox controllers easily. So I don't have to decide the way you're deciding, because even if I want to play with multiple people, the Steam Deck is still the better option for me. Or my PC, but my PC is not in the living room, so it's slightly less comfortable. But I can also stream. Oh, one last advantage of the Steam Deck compared to the Switch. I can stream my PC locally using Moonshine and Sunshine, and it's incredibly fast. Honestly, I've been playing some games and I forget that I'm streaming them. Especially if you don't play something, I guess if you don't play a competitive fast FPS, you won't notice it. And so, for example, I've played Hellblade that would not run. First of all, was not available because it's on the Game Pass, so I wanted to use the Game Pass. But I'm using the power of my PC, right? That means you run the game on your PC and displays on the exactly. The PC is running the game, and I'm streaming the screen. It sounds sketchy. I know it sounds sketchy, but it works surprisingly well, especially since I'm on the same network. I'm not going through a cloud service or whatever. And even then, when I was using the Xbox Game Pass, I was streaming some games from the Xbox Game Pass. If you have fiber optics, you're not going to feel it that much. It's honestly pretty good. For most games, it's pretty good. I completely missed the news on the Switch too, just know it's out. Yeah, so we're talking about it, so no problem. I don't hate Windows like most Windows. Yeah, okay. But having Windows on my handheld, I feel like it would be a nightmare. Maybe it's not true. Maybe Windows is actually usable, and maybe Rogue made something good for playing your games. I feel like the good thing about the Steam Deck is by default you are in game mode. And I like the game mode. It looks like a console, right? So for most of the time you're using the Steam Deck, you're using it as if it was a console. So it's tightly integrated. Most of it works very well. It has a nice interface. It's like it's made to be a console. But if you need to, you can switch to desktop mode. And I like that. And you know what I like also? I think I like the fact that it's Linux based. I like the fact that it's Linux based because I want Linux to be pushed more for gaming. So I guess it also helps loving it also helps me to love the Steam Deck. It also helps me in loving the Steam Deck because it's also like a sign that I'm sending to developers to support Linux, and to Microsoft saying, hey, I don't like using Windows to game. And in some cases, you have better performance using Proton on Linux, which is crazy when you think about it. So really, I think it could be, in the long run, sending a good signal. We don't want your fucking custom launchers that are shit. We don't want your anti-cheats that are shit. And we don't want Windows. And I think I like that. I think I like that direction. It's probably far from something that everyone is using, but I like that direction. I only have 2 Xbox controllers, wireless and 4 wired, but they're in a box. Too many cables. Yeah, I see. That means you run the game on PC. Yeah, we talked about that. I haven't a problem running it. They have a console UI, and then I can switch to desktop. Okay, fine. I see. Yeah, okay, no problem. There are new handheld by Asus that use SteamOS. I think there is one that will, but I think it's from Lenovo, if I'm okay. I agree with the pro Linux thoughts. Yeah. So the ROG, for example, you have this one, right? You have this one, the ROG Ally 2023, I guess. Okay, they have a Ryzen also, interesting. Okay, I don't care about that. Can we see the price? It's a bit more than 400, is that right? Let's see on Amazon. Lenovo is the first one of SteamOS. Yeah, okay. I really hope SteamOS takes over all. Yeah, I would love to see SteamOS. I can't buy it on Amazon in here, right? Am I crazy? ROG Ally, is this the same one? Yeah, it's the same one. 521.29. Okay. I mean, the comparison is not going to be fair, because this is a 16 gigabyte and 512 gigabyte SSD. And if you compare it to the Steam Deck, it's basically 16. We need to compare it to the 512 version, right? So we need to compare it to this version. So it's pretty similar. The screen's actually higher resolution. Okay, interesting. 120 hertz. Okay, it's definitely catered towards more like enthusiasts. Like, hey, you want a beefy, powerful console? Buy our consoles instead, because it's like a real gamer console, right? Okay, fair enough. Ah, there's no trackpad. Interesting. So you see, the fact that you have trackpads on the Steam Deck, it sounds stupid, and you might think that it's not useful, but it's actually quite useful if you play games that are mouse-based, and it works surprisingly well, honestly. It works quite well. And so the 512 OLED version is up to 90 hertz. Okay. So personally, I have this one. I have the 256 gigabytes. No, I don't have this one. I have an even smaller one. I have the 64 gigabytes version LCD. I bought the cheapest option, and honestly, it works really well for me. It works really well because I have an SD card. I bought like a 256 gigs SD card for like, I don't know, it was relatively cheap. It was pretty cheap, and I'm very happy because I play mostly indie games, so I don't care about having 512 gigabytes of storage, to be honest. What I cared about was the price, and I don't remember how much I paid, but I think it was around that, maybe a bit less. And the LCD version, you can buy it refurbished. And I think it's even less. They only have the OLED. Yeah, you see, you can buy the 256. Look at that. The version that I got, 300 euros. 64 gigabytes. Refurbished, it's 300 euros. Honestly, it's a steal. Honestly, if you want a simple console to play your indie games, this is probably the cheapest you can get. And the LCD version for me works perfectly fine because I don't use my Steam Deck outside, and I don't think I care that much about OLED. I mean, OLED is probably better, it probably looks better and stuff like that, but I don't care that much. The battery is slightly bigger on the OLED version, okay, and it has Wi-Fi 6E, and it has 90 Hz refresh rate, and a slightly bigger screen, okay. And the resolution, honestly, you might say that I'm coping, right? You might say that I'm coping, but 1280 by 800 on a screen that is like 7-inch is totally fine. Never once I thought, oh, I don't have enough resolution. Is the Steam Deck cooling system noisy? In my experience, no, but again, I'm not playing AAA games on the Steam Deck. So if you are playing a AAA game and you're not streaming, you will hear the ventilation, you will hear the fan spin up. The same way you would hear your fan spin up on a laptop, right? So it can get a bit noisy if you're running a very demanding game. For most of the games that I play, it's completely silent. Completely silent. SteamOS should be a no-brainer for most of the handheld makers. It saves them the cost of Windows license and put them on par with the Steam Deck. They're probably going to move to that. Yes, they're probably going to move to that. No way it can actually run 120 Hz. Again, it depends what kind of game you're playing, Woland. It depends. If you're playing Isaac, you're playing Celeste, you're playing a simple 3D game, you will run at 120 hertz, no problem. Right joystick acts as a mouse in desktop mode. Okay, but it's something you see. A joystick acting as a mouse is never the same. The trackpad on the Steam Deck is a surprisingly good replacement for a mouse, and you have both. You have two of them, so it's actually quite useful. But again, it's something specific. For some players, it will be the only way to play certain games, and so they will require a Steam Deck because they want that feature, right? They want that feature above everything else. So they don't care about the rest. They don't care about, I don't know, more powerful, bigger screen, whatever. And so this version is the newest version, the Ally X. And the thing is that it costs a fuck ton of money, right? It costs 900. This is a lot to ask. So 900, you basically buy a laptop for that price. You buy a laptop for that price, which I think is a lot. You see, 900. But of course, I guess it's a lot of storage, it's very powerful, blah blah blah. Yeah. I want a console to play AAA games because my computer is too old. My 970 can't cope with the latest games. Okay, interesting. So, to be honest with you, I don't think most people would expect to play AAA games on a handheld. I don't know if it's reasonable to expect playing AAA games on a handheld. I think it's a bit... You're asking a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. Or you're ready to make some compromises and you know you're going to run everything in low, or you're not going to run 60 FPS or stuff like that, right? PS5 or Xbox if you want AAA games at decent cost. Exactly, Mars. I would go as far as saying Game Pass for some games. Game Pass would be probably the best way to play those games because... For example, I can give you one example. The latest Indiana Jones game apparently is very cool. People enjoy it very much. It's a good FPS. It's closer to an immersive sim. People are saying that it's very good. The only problem is that it requires RTX. It requires ray tracing, right? And my GPU, you know it, it's a 1070, it runs perfectly fine, but it doesn't have RTX, so I'm not able to play it. So one way to play it is, for 1 month, to switch from my Xbox Game Pass. I have like the normal version, I downgraded to the normal version some time ago. I pay a bit more, and I go to the Ultra version, and I stream the game. And I think it should be fine. So I think it's also a decent way of playing AAA games if you don't want to have the best hardware. I don't know. Higher refresh rate means shorter battery life only anyway. Exactly, Smax. That's also why I'm okay with having a slightly lower resolution on a handheld. I'm okay with having a lower resolution because what I care about with a handheld is the handheld aspect, being able to play without being plugged in. Same thing with my phone. Same thing with my phone. I have 120 hertz refresh rate display. It's better than my fucking monitor in front of me, right? 120 hertz. I never put it in 120 hertz mode because it destroys the battery, and I don't care. The thing is, to be honest with you, on a phone it's very different, right? But on a phone, I feel like, yes, it looks cool, the high refresh rate, it feels very snappy, it feels amazing, but I think you're going to forget about it the day after, but you're going to destroy your battery. So I don't think it's worth it. OLED can also have the advantage to conserve energy if large parts of the screens are black dark. Yes, that's true. I'm wondering how much of a difference it makes though. I'm wondering if you really see a difference when you're playing. I think it's more powerful than a laptop of the same price. it's difficult to know. I don't know. We would need to see benchmarks, to be honest. Games like Elden Ring run just fine, even Starfield, but you might have to turn stuff down. Yeah. But Elden Ring is not necessarily what people expect to be a AAA. You see what I mean? For example, I think when we talk about AAAs, most people think about games like God of War, maybe the Assassin's Creeds, things like Spider-Man, games like that are pretty demanding, right? They are pretty demanding, and I don't know if they run well or not on the Steam Deck. I see sometimes on Reddit people saying, "Hey, I managed to get this game running," but it's always a struggle. And is it really what it's designed for? I don't think so. I think if your goal is just to play AAA games, I'm not sure a handheld is the best way to go. At least not yet. Scale down and all, and they would for a console as they would for a console release. Yeah, but the game needs to be on the Game Pass, right? Never got around to understand how the Game Pass thingy works. Yeah, of course, it needs to be on the Game Pass. But some big games are on the Game Pass, and it's an easy way to play them at a lower cost, actually. For example, Stalker 2 is on the Game Pass if you want to play it. And you have a lot of games on the Game Pass, to be honest. You have a lot of games. Of course, you don't have all of them. The Game Pass is basically Microsoft and developers making an agreement, and Microsoft is paying them a certain amount for them to be on the Game Pass. And then they decide, are they on the Game Pass exclusively? Are they first on the Game Pass and then they release? Is it like a long deal, a short deal, etc., etc.? So then it's all a bunch of like business stuff in the background, but it's basically signing a contract, right? I could be on the Game Pass. Well, I couldn't because they don't care about my game, but you see what I mean. We could find an agreement and say, hey, we want to pay you, I don't know, $50K to have your game on the Game Pass for a year. And I say, okay, that's it. That's how it works. Mtastic, I don't trust Asus, to be honest, with their motherboard issues from a country where only Asus ROG Ally is available as a handheld, and no other handhelds, not even the Switch or the Steam Deck. I prefer to buy an imported Steam Deck. Wow, interesting. Can you tell us where you are? I'm interested. I thought the Steam Deck was available in a lot of places now, but maybe it's still not easy. On handhelds, I play like all night in games like that. Yeah, totally. Xbox is spending a lot of money on there. Yes, it's an Xbox campaign. Yeah. Have you seen Davigo? It's a game that combines desktop players versus VR players. It's a cool concept. We were playing it family and it was fun on my handheld. It's the thing about the god? Is it the thing about the god? Yes, it's the thing about the god. I mean, that's how I think about it. I don't know if it's how you should think about it, but I see this as a god, and then there's the player. Yeah, I've heard about that. So you played it. Is it only playable that way? Is it only playable that way? Like, is it only playable VR and a computer? Or can you play alone just with a computer or just with VR? Because I'm incredibly surprised if that is the case. If you can only play with mixed content, I'm very, very surprised that people are fine with that. But maybe it's new enough and it's good enough that people don't care about it. No, you need both. Wow, okay. Okay, nice. Thanks for the explanation. It's a subscription, I guess, the Game Pass. It's a subscription, yes. Let's look at the prices. Game Pass prices. Let's look at the prices. Can you give me the price? I want the PC Game Pass. Are you serious? Is there no way to just see the prices? Is that a fucking joke? I hate when companies are doing that. Okay, give me the prices, IGN. Okay, so it starts at $9.99 a month. And you can subscribe for just 1 month, right? So honestly, when you think about it, if you really want to play a game, you can just subscribe for 1 month, you play the game, and that's it. And the version you need to stream is this one. It's the Ultimate, I think. Oh, sorry, I'm on Xbox. Sorry. What? Yes. Oh, they changed the pricing. Ooh, sorry, I didn't... Sorry. So it's $11.99. It's $11.99. I remember it got pricier some time ago. $11.99 is the base access, and then if you play the Ultimate version, $19.99, which used to be $14. It used to be $14. I was paying the Ultimate version because for €14 a month, I was able to stream games also. And now it's $20. But again, you can stream games. The only problem about the Game Pass is that the games will come and go. So you never know in advance how long they're going to stay, which can be a problem. And it has a bunch of problems, right? Let's be honest, it has a bunch of problems. It pushes you to consume games and to not own them, and it has a bunch of problems. But it can be cool. When it was just a prototype, I remember seeing that too. Yeah. We bought an adapter for the PSVR 2 that allows you to connect to the PC so you can play Steam VR games. Oh, I didn't know it was available. That's pretty cool. That was a cool find as well. I don't feel like PlayStation pushed that they made the adapter. I ran across it as a game. Yeah, okay. I was not even aware it was possible. And I thought the PSVR 2 was limited to PlayStation, and so for me, it was definitely a no-go because, first of all, I don't own a PlayStation, but I don't want my VR headset to be limited to one platform. And one thing I like about the Quest is, first of all, that I can sideload stuff because it's just Android and I can run whatever I want, so I can sideload stuff, which is super interesting to play very small games or games that are not on the store, and I can play PC games also. I can stream them or I can connect with the cable, so that's very, very cool. The games will pass. Exactly, the game will pass. So it's pretty expensive. Okay, so we saw that. So this looks like a cool game. I'm just incredibly surprised that people are okay with that. But it's just probably because it's a good game, right? And so when you finally manage to find someone that wants to play with you, you enjoy it. But it feels like you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? Can you imagine yourself making a game like that? And you know the requirements you're imposing on the players are crazy. You need a PC and VR. I mean, that can be the same PC, I guess. If your PC is strong enough, it can run the VR stuff and it can also run the PC version. But it feels like a really fun game, yeah. It feels like it shouldn't work, but it's the only game like that is out there, and there is only one of these games, so zero competition. And I guess it's good. Because it could also just be a shitty game, and so people would not be happy with it. And honestly, being very positive, pretty good. And look at that. Probably like 160k wishlists. That's a lot. Impressive. So Steam Deck, the Asus ROG, we took a look at that. The Switch 2. We saw the Switch 2 in here. Just to finish on the subject, backward compatible. It's backward compatible, and some people have been asking, do you think it's also going to be forward compatible? Right? Do you think it's also going to be forward compatible? Which maybe doesn't really make any sense, because forward compatible would be the game releases only on the Switch 2. You take the cartridge and you put it on your Switch and it works. And I guess theoretically it could work, but I guess if the game is going to release exclusively on the Switch 2, it's probably because it requires the power of the Switch 2. So trying to play the game on the Switch 1 would not work. And so I'm wondering if they're going to find a way to differentiate the games, right? I'm wondering if they're trying to differentiate the games. Will they make cartridges that are slightly different for the Switch 2 to make sure that you can't try to play those games, or is it going to be software locked? Maybe it's just going to be software locked, like inside of the cartridge, it's written, it's a Switch 2 only, and if you put it in the Switch, it's telling you, hey, you can't run this game. I'm thinking it's probably going to be like that. And now you understand why some month ago they went after Rio Jinx and fuck, what is the other? Oh fuck, I forgot the other name of the emulator. Very well known. But anyway, you see what I mean. You understand now why they went after them and they made sure to remove them from the scene. Because otherwise, it means that Yuzu, yeah, thank you. It means that Switch 2 games are playable with emulation day one. You see what I mean? And so that's pretty fucked up from their perspective, of course. Thank you, Wallen, for that. I took so much time to understand what they were saying. Thank you for your reactivity, maybe. It does fit a very good niche, though. My kids play on the Quest 3, but they can only play one at a time. But they want to play together. This would allow for that situation. Yeah, true. That's very true. If you have only one VR headset, but you have another way of playing, yeah, okay. But it's so much. Again, as a developer, I would be. First of all, I think there is a lot of potential in VR, and I think it can make a lot of money, especially since you don't have a lot of games in VR. At least you have more games than before, but you still have nowhere close to the amount of games that you have on PC, right? So as a developer, I would be like, yeah, okay, making a VR game would be difficult. It would be a risk, but I think there's a market for that. I think it would be enough for me to make enough money. But then making a game that requires a mix of devices like that, it's so specific, I think I would be too afraid. You see what I mean? Of course, it fits into a niche that has nothing else like it. So you will be interesting just because you allow something that otherwise is not possible. But I would be scared. Like crazy. I see the lawsuit coming for the people who jailbreak Switch 2 games with Switch 1. Maybe. Did they announce any new game on it? I don't think there is any specific announcement. I know that the next Metroid game is going to release on the Switch 2. I think a lot of people who own a VR headset also own a PC. That's very true, but also not true at all. I think for example, every Christmas you see an uprise in the amount of quests that are sold. And I think one of the very interesting aspects of a Quest compared to a PSVR or a Valve Index or something else is that it's a console in itself. You don't need a PC. For 300 euros, you have something that works on its own. And you have everything included. So I think more and more people got a VR headset and they're not necessarily gamers outside. You can totally imagine buying that to a teenager, and that teenager doesn't own a PC because why would he? They don't care about the PC. They just have a phone and they have their Quest headset. Same for a family, right? Maybe they have a PC, but they don't really care about it, so it's old and it's not able to play games. So I'm not sure most people who own a VR headset also own a PC capable of playing. I'm not sure. Thank you for the 3 consecutive streams, Mars. Hello, Furette. We're talking about the Switch, exactly, and we also talk about a bunch of other stuff at the same time. handhelds, VR, and a bunch of stuff. VR is a niche, but I think there's a market if you make a VR that allows you to play with PC players, but not require one or the other. Exactly, Mars. Exactly. So that's why I asked earlier if it was required, right? That's why I asked you, is it required to play with someone else? Because again, as a developer, I would be scared of making a game like that. So I would probably make sure that the game can be experienced in one way or another. Like, for example, I would make it a VR first. I would make it a VR first game, and then maybe you can play with someone that has like a PC in a special way. But I don't think I would do the opposite, right? I think I would make it VR first and give you the ability to maybe play with someone with a PC. But I would not make it PC first and give you the ability to play with VR. That sounds like a nightmare. And I would not make a game that is PC and VR only. You have to have those two at the same time. It feels crazy to me to ask people to do that. But again, I understand why some people would love that. It sounds cool, but their game looks to be very successful. Yeah. But it's easy to look at it and say, hey, it is successful, so you see it's a good idea. Now, think about it 2 years ago when it was not released. And you have to think, and you have to trust it, and you have to trust that enough people will be able to buy your game and play your game with that specific setup. It would be different. Let me give you another perspective. It would be slightly different if your game was VR plus a mobile phone. I think you would agree on that, right? VR plus mobile phone, it makes sense. It makes sense because most people have a capable enough phone, right? Many people. And that, I think you can assume, if you have a VR headset, you probably own a smartphone. It makes sense, right? It means you have enough money, so you probably own both. But hey, they ran some market research and stuff, and they found that there was a potential for that game. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm so excited for a Switch 2. Yeah, Furet, you are a Switch player, right? You have a Switch. You own a Switch, I think. Imagine COD with the ability to run it with VR. Yeah, I mean, why not? I think I saw someone develop something like that, or just went for it and got lucky. Yeah, totally. Maybe it was something that was really interesting for them. You know, sometimes you develop something simply because you need it, right? We can imagine that the guy was into VR, the developer was into VR, and he wanted to be able to play with other friends, but it's hard to convince your friends to buy a VR headset just to play with you. But at the same time, if you are a gamer, maybe you own a laptop, maybe you own a Steam Deck, maybe you own a desktop, whatever. So then maybe he was like, hey, you know what? I have this headset, I want to be able to play with other people. Convincing them is too complicated to buy a headset. Let's just make a game that allows us to play with what we have. And you trust the process. Someone who hasn't worried enough about selling just built something they wanted to... Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to pre-order, but won't get it off... But won't... I'm going to pre-order, but won't get it off? Is not having a good lineup. I don't understand your sentence, Peacebreaker. And can you pre-order? You're saying you can pre-order. You're saying you're going to pre-order it. Can you pre-order? Do you know? But it's interesting. You are. Okay. So the Switch 2 for you, Furet, is a no-brainer. Because you own a bunch of Switch games. And you know that it's going to be backward compatible. And so you know you're basically going to be able to enjoy your games on a better console, basically, right? On a better Switch. Is that how you think about it? And so in Paris, in April, there is a way to try it. I won't be in Paris in April, so I won't try it. But that's interesting, right? Okay, that's stupid. Shut up. So let's see. You know what? Let's watch the trailer and let's discuss the trailer really quickly. Tell me what you think about the trailer, because I have some things to say about it. GameStop here in the States is talking about Switch 2 pre-orders. Oh, okay. We can't pre-order yet. I'm saying when we can, I will pre-order just to hold one, but I don't want to get it. Oh, okay. I don't care about the games coming out before. Yeah, okay. Also, why are we reading this in an inferior language? Hey, fuck you, Peacebreaker. Because the article was saying that we missed some stuff, and actually the article was lying. We didn't miss anything. So let's watch that. Tell me what you think. We watch this. And that's it. Let's go. And here you think it's finished. And it's not. It's so weird. All right. So, tell me, what do you think about this trailer? Let's talk specifically about the trailer, right? We talk about the Switch and stuff. I think we agree. We like it. It's cool. It's going to be more performance, whatever. What do you think about the trailer itself? What do you think about it? I don't know if I'll buy it, but I'm very excited. For sure, they'll have great games at some point. Yeah, no brainer. They're definitely going to have like also the older games remade in a better way. Like all of the Zeldas are probably going to be able to be played at like 60 FPS or something. And see the full video. That's so Nintendo. Yeah, I posted in general the email I got from GameStop. Okay, we'll take a look. Shoulder buttons. Be back later. Should probably listen to my work meeting. Good luck with the meeting. Hello Seto, how are you doing? I love that they have shoulder buttons when you detach the controller. Yeah. I know Mario Kart is their most selling games on the Switch, but also it's not a game that would ever make me buy a console. Yeah. I don't think they expect people to buy the console for Mario Kart. The Joy-Con has a mouse is the most revolutionary thing they can come up with. Yeah, exactly. It's not crazy. I'm not a real fan of the trailer. Yeah, a new Zelda is in the making, 100%. I don't think a new Zelda is in the making, in my opinion. At least not for like the next years. TOTK released not so long ago, and TOTK, I mean, they can milk Breath of the Wild and TOTK so much more. They can definitely come up with like a new version and like sell again millions of copies just because you can now play at 60 FPS. I'm pretty sure. First, it feels like all of this is fake. It looks like it's all done in 3D. It is all done in 3D, though. It is. It's motion design, so it's all done in 3D. Yes. Like, to be honest, like most products you see, because it allows you to do cool transitions and stuff like that. Second, I'm not a fan of the rhythm and music. It feels very psychedelic. Yeah, totally. I do agree. Not really enjoyable, to be honest. Yeah. I think New Zelda is always in the making. New Zelda is always in the making, yes. But to be honest, TOTK feels like the Switch 2 of Breath of the Wild. Do you agree? If the Switch 2 is just a better version of the Switch, or like an improved version, I feel like TOTK is just an improvement on Breath of the Wild. And so what I think is that they're definitely going to have a release for the next Zelda game in many years. If they try to bring something that really changes, that is really new, that is really innovative, it's not going to be next year or in 2 years. It's going to be even more than that, I think. But maybe they're going to have another type of Zelda game for the Switch release to go with it. But Peacebreaker, you're right. It's Metroid Prime 4, which is the new game, the new iconic game for the console. It's not February, Kamilos. It's the opposite. They are using the stupid American date, so it's in April. I got confused too. It's on April. On the 2nd of February, it's my birthday, if you want to know. 2nd of February, it's my birthday. But for most products, you don't see it, right? It feels real. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. For most product, it feels better. Yeah. Let's agree this video is not great. Let's see the full reveal in April. Yeah, exactly. I feel like, to me, I saw the video and I was like, what is wrong? The pacing is off. Like, it is full motion graphics, right? It's just something that shows you that they're modifying the Switch to make it a Switch 2. And I'm like, yeah, okay, why not? The idea is cool, but make it snappy. Look at that. 1 minute and 33 seconds to show us the transformation. 1 minute and 33 seconds to show us the transformation. It feels so long. Like, look at the beginning. Of course, they're trying to create tension and stuff. I guess you also have to put it in context. When you think about it, the Switch was not supposed to be leaked. Right? The Switch was not supposed to be leaked. So imagine you're seeing this for the first time. And the trailer starts with that. It starts with the Switch 1. And you're like, what? Why are they showing the Switch 1? Right? You see, imagine that also. I think the trailer hits very differently because we knew already what it would look like. So you look at the trailer and you're like, yeah, okay, Switch 1, what are they trying to tell us? Okay, it gets detached. Yeah, okay, Switch 1. Oh, it's getting bigger. Okay, getting bigger. Thinner, I guess. Okay. Is it the Switch 2 now? Imagine in the context, you're like, okay, is that the Switch 2 now? Okay, USB. Oh, they have a new stand. Oh, okay, new stand. Okay, cool, that's cool. Okay, new stand, I like it. Oh, and oh, that's nice. I like that. Okay, new feature, cool. And then the Joy-Cons, okay. Oh, okay, the Joy-Cons are now slightly bigger. Why not? Okay. A bit of color, why not? You see what I mean? You are a bit more interested if you don't know already what it's going to look like. But for most people that knew about the Switch, you're watching this, the pacing is really off. It's fucking slow. It takes too long on some details that are not super important, and it takes 1 minute and 33 seconds to be done with it. This is actually cool, right? That moment where they're showing you that they're hinting that it can be a mouse. Again, imagine you're not aware of the leak. Imagine you didn't hear about the leak. You see this, and it's new, and you're like, you see this, then it clamps, and you see them drifting around, and you're like, what? What are they trying to say? You see what I mean? It looks more interesting. But it's too long. It's way too long. And then it finally shows you that this is way too long. It shows you their connector. We don't need to see the connector for that long. Honestly, this shot is very useless. Too long. And then clap. And then we see the other side, and then clap. Useless. But anyway. And then you see it in full frontal shot with the detachable and boom, Switch 2. And you're like, wow, okay, Switch 2, pretty cool announcement. Even though this feels cheap as hell. This clap that turns into a 2, this is cheap as hell. Right? This is cheap as hell. And then you're like, okay, so now it's finished, right? When I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, so now the trailer is finished. And then for some reason, it switches to something else. And then you have look at that. It looks like two trailers that were stitched together. My take on that is that they're gluing two trailers in one. It looks like it's the end, and then boom, it switches to something completely different, now way more colorful and stuff. Switch 2 is announced again. It's announced again. You see it again. It was announced right there. Right there, it was announced. 2. And then they're showing you again. What's the purpose? It makes no fucking sense. No fucking sense. And then they're finally showing you the games. The trailer is so fucking bad. In my opinion, it is really bad. Right? It is really bad. The pacing is off. It's too long. It's showing you things that is useless, and it's not showing you enough of what is interesting, in my opinion. The easing on that is absolutely terrible. The docking is not satisfying. It should be a much stronger click. It's so bad. Look at how long it takes. Look at how long it takes. It looks like this. It looks like, why are they doing that? It looks like the Switch is completely not responsive. It looks like it's slow as fuck. Look at that. Look at that. You plug it in, it turns black, and then 2 seconds later, you detach the Joy-Cons and you see the Mario Kart. What on earth? People know what a Switch is by now. People know what a Switch is by now, right? So you don't have to be so slow about docking your console. And everyone knows that you can dock the console. So just dock it, go faster, and show that you can play. Shklack, it's very cool. Announce a new Mario Kart game at the same time, and finish on that, because it's actually a very cool shot at the beginning. But come on, it's so bad. It's really, really bad. You're nitpicking way too much as a French tradition now. Honestly, I'm not nitpicking. You know why I'm not nitpicking? Because this is Nintendo we're talking about. This is the trailer announcing a new console. The small things like that, they can't miss those things. You see what I mean? They can't miss those things. They have how many people working on something like that? Honestly, I think I could do a better job. Especially since when they were announcing games in the past or consoles in the past, they were doing it much better. It's so bad. It's really bad. Honestly, it's a bad experience. It's a really bad experience. It could be much better. It's still a Switch Pro, not a new console. That's true. Imagine the lead designer of this video listening to you with tears in their eyes, because in reality, everybody saw the leaks. Yeah. Okay, so what did we say? Okay, the 2nd of April is after April's Fool. Yeah, this video is so Apple. I hate that every company is turning into Apple. Everything inside a void. Okay, you feel that way. Okay, you think it feels Apple. Maybe it doesn't feel joyful enough, in my opinion. It doesn't feel joyful enough. It's still a Switch Pro, not a console. Okay, Switch 2 having a mouse is going to be a nightmare for online shooter games. Yes, probably. I didn't understand the thing about the mouse, to be honest. Oh, it's just you can turn your Joy-Con into a mouse, basically. You turn it on the side, you do that, you detach it, you put it like this, and now you can use it as a mouse. That's the only thing that they're showing, basically. I've been ignorant about all of this, and I didn't understand the mouse thing until you said it either. Okay. But did it create some interest Like, did you see it and were like, oh, what is it? I'm interested. I wasn't aware that it can be a mouse. I didn't realize it was in the video. Fact, yeah. The mouse thing seems dumb. Part of the handheld console appeal is that you're not using it as a desk. A mouse is hard to use in a flat surface. I disagree with you, Vex. I disagree with you. I think the mouse thingy shows you that the Switch is a console that can do everything. I think that's why it's interesting. Eventually, but then you don't have the keyboard, so that might not be true. We have to see how it's going to be used. But I think it's showing you that it's a console that can be played handheld, that can be played as a couch console on a TV, and that can also maybe be interacted with more like a PC. Speculation. We don't know exactly how it's going to be used, right? But it could be cool, I think. That clicks sounds in an echo effect, yeah? I was going to buy a Switch 2 and the trailer threw me off. I'm unsubbing, you're too harsh. No, the bar is high. The bar is high. They need to do something good. My guess is that the trailer was meant to be released in 6 months, but they have moved it forward because of the leaks. I feel like the first part was for people who have the Switch and probably read the leaks, and the second part was for the normies who have no clue. Maybe. My take is that the trailer was not supposed to release in that state and was not supposed to release today. My take is that the trailers were supposed to release in two steps. First would be the first trailer in here, where they would announce how the console is changing, basically, right? So they're just announcing the change of the console, and then they have a normal trailer. Because look at it from my perspective. It makes so much sense. The first trailer is a bit cryptic at the beginning because they're showing you their old console. Nobody's doing that. If you announce a new console, you don't start with the previous console. I don't think you do that. But you do that because it's an upgraded version. So you start with the old version. People are confused. You're like, what are they talking about? And then, boom, they're starting to show you how it's going to differ, how it's going to evolve. Okay, cool. And at the very end, they're clicking and they're telling you what it is. Click 2. It's the Switch 2. And now we know the name. This is the trailer. This is telling you what the next console is, right? It's a trailer in itself. This is a trailer in itself. And then they stitched an ad. They stitched a normal ad. Look at that. This is a normal ad. Much more snappy. Look at how fast it goes. It's a completely different style. Everything goes so much faster. There's light everywhere. It's colorful. It's reminding you of the Switch because it's blue and red. They're showing you the console really fast. Boom, boom, boom. They're showing you Switch 2. But why are they showing you Switch 2 so early? Because you saw the trailer earlier. You were supposed to see the trailer earlier. And now you're seeing it and you're like, oh yeah, the Switch 2, I'm excited. Look at it, boom. And they're showing you the games because remember, it's a console. It's made to play games. And they're reminding you, yes, you can dock the Switch and you can play on your fucking TV. And that is a normal ad. That is like a normal ad that will run on TV or in the subway or wherever. My take is that those are two different things that have been stitched together. They have nothing to do with each other. It makes no fucking sense. I can't believe that a director would make a trailer like that. I don't believe it. And if they do, it's a bad trailer. My take is that it's a bad trailer. I mean, when I saw the trailer, I didn't understand what it was showcasing as a mouse. Yeah. I think that was the goal. Arkham. Because the first trailer, the first part of the trailer is supposed to act as a trailer. It's supposed to act as something that is telling you that there's a new console, and that this new console is called the Switch 2, and it's supposed to create questions. It's supposed to make you interested in the console and be like, oh, what is that? What is it? Why is it like that? Right? The thing is, we have so much information, it doesn't work that way. I like the Apple-like feel of the trailer, but I'm not that much inside the game dev community, nor am I a game dev, so maybe my perception is different. I enjoyed the aspect of it. I enjoy the transition, right? I enjoy the idea of transitioning from the old console to the new console. I would just see it as something way more snappier. I want something snappier. Motion design is usually snappy, unless you're trying to sell a meditation device. It is snappy, right? But anyway, we might finally get a Mario Paint 2. I think so, yeah. I thought they were just playing with the Joy-Cons like they were Tron Light cycles. But no, because they're clearly showing you in the trailer, look at it. In the trailer, again, it's a hint, right? It's a hint. It's subtle, but they're clearly showing you, where is it? There is one shot in here. Look at that. What? Did I miss it again? Oh, it goes fast, right? They're not showing you super clearly, to be honest. They're not showing you super clearly, but there's a hint in here, right? You can see, okay, it's like one frame, but you can see. And again. Imagine, understand what I'm trying to say. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense to make a trailer like that that doesn't explain you everything. If you want to create interest in your product, because people will go through the trailer frame by frame. They will go in here and they will say, "Oh, there is what looks like an IR sensor, just like a mouse," and it makes sense because we can see them using it as a mouse in here, or what looks like a mouse. In our case, it doesn't do the same thing because we know about the leaks, and so we're not really intrigued anymore. We just see it and we're like, oh yeah, it's a confirmation that it was real. And then, again, I think that the first part, the first minute and a half, and again, look at this. A minute and a half. A minute and a half is exactly the amount of time you should spend on a trailer. You see what I mean? A minute and a half is the perfect time for a trailer. 2 minutes and 21 seconds? I don't think so. So, my opinion is that it was never supposed to be the same thing. It was supposed to be two different trailers that were stitched together. It's the only way it makes sense, in my opinion. Apple is doing exactly that, but I do not complain about it. I don't think the animation was meant to be shown standalone. They just did it due to leaks. Maybe. I thought they were just playing with the Joy-Cons. Yeah. They had to start with Switch 1. Do you remember the launch of the Wii U? Yeah. Just notice this. Maybe it's just the compression, but this render missing the marking on the back like FCC. Maybe they don't have to show the things, right? They're missing everything. It's oh no, in here you can see stuff. You can see CE and stuff. It's like a Nintendo. It's a bit hard to read, but you can see some stuff. And there's also a bit of motion blur and stuff. But you have a bunch of the markings in here. Maybe it's hard for you to see, but yeah. It's hard to see for me in the video, and then you have the Twitch compression on top of that, so I guess it's hard for you to see. Just notice, I don't agree with your mouse thoughts. I can't see the mouse feature being anything more than a gimmick. It's the wrong shape to be comfortable, and in the wrong environment to be functional. You won't be doing anything productivity type thing on the Switch 2. There will be some Mario themed draw and guess game that will use the mouse, and that'll be it. Vex, I don't agree with your thoughts, and I have a counter argument that I think is interesting. This shit is exactly what you said. It's the wrong shape to be comfortable. This shit is already the wrong shape to be comfortable. The Switch is not comfortable. It's a shitty device in terms of comfort. An Xbox controller now we're talking about something that is comfortable. So I don't think it's an argument saying that it won't be comfortable, because the Switch is not comfortable. So I think seeing the design, seeing the fact that it's going to be a bit bigger, that this is protruding maybe a bit more, that there is another trigger in here and stuff, it might be slightly more comfortable, but it's still not going to be optimal. The optimal way to play with the Switch is to use a Pro controller or another controller. So I don't think saying that the mouse will not be used because it's the wrong shape to be comfortable, I don't think it's valid. I don't think personally that it's valid. And I don't think people are going to do productivity thing on the Switch, but it's going to allow them to play games either in a different way, like, as you're saying, maybe as more of a gimmick inside of a Mario game or something like that, but also just to play games like, I don't know, Civ, The Sims, or games that would be better played with a mouse, and that have been ported to be using a gamepad. It's not necessarily a gimmick. I don't think you should see it as a gimmick, but as an option, right? It's an option. Maybe I'm wrong. Nobody uses it, and it's in fact a gimmick. That could be the case. That could definitely be the case. But I think it could also be just an option. And having options is good. The same way, look at it this way. Some people believe that the detachable Joy-Cons on a Switch are a gimmick. They believe that this is a gimmick. For some people, it's the reason why they buy a Switch. So it's all a question of perspectives, right? For some people, it's actually incredibly useful that you can detach the Joy-Cons and you can have 2 players for free. Or you can use the Joy-Cons and plug them in the special thingy and then play with like an actual real controller. You see what I mean? So giving players another option to play other games, why not? I never used them detached. I bought a controller for it, console model. And I did the same. As a developer, the first thing I did with the Switch is I bought a Pro controller. Of course. But I can totally see myself as a kid having this for Christmas, and then my parents are telling me, look, we are either gifting you another game, which costs 60 euros or 70 euros, or we're buying you another controller. I think my choice is easily made. And also because I know that if I want to play with someone else, I can detach the Joy-Cons, and yes, it's a far inferior option. It's very an inferior option to play on something tiny like that. But it is an option that I have for free. I have it for free. And now I can play, Mario Kart with a friend that comes at home for free. Because it's coming with the console. You see what I mean? And so for the price of adding an IR sensor to add more options to be able to play with the Joy-Cons that are already this idea of being able to modify the way you play to switch between different play modes, I think it's logical and I don't see it as a gimmick. You see what I mean? I don't see it as a gimmick. Clearly, I had to buy other pads and will be able to play for more than 2 hours on my Switch, actually. Oui? But I see what you mean. Yeah, I see. I agree with you, Seto. Switch is very comfortable weight-wise. First time playing the Steam Deck on my back, I had a hurt arms. Yeah. Playing the Steam Deck on your back is awful, but holding the Steam Deck is so much better. FPS or RTS will be interesting to try. Yeah, exactly. The interesting bit is how they'll handle wear on that strap on thing. Yes, totally. I do agree with you, Smax. That could be a problem. I think the Switch 2 will be compatible with Windows and will therefore be able to run all Steam games and thus will need a mouse. Prove me wrong. All the kids playing Fortnite on Switch 2 are going to have an advantage. Yeah, maybe. I never used them detached. I bought a controller. Yeah, you guys need to remember the main market for the Switch. Exactly. The main market for the Switch is not you, basically. You are the second. You're probably the second market for the Switch. People with disposable income that can buy another console that they're not going to use all the time. True, right? You guys need to remember, yeah, but I also don't use the motion controller type games. Yeah, true. Yeah. From a user of the old NES controller view, the controllers on Switch are awesome. The detachable controllers were geared towards kids, in my opinion. Yeah, I would say, I would not just say kids, but towards families, I think. Towards families. Me neither, but in contrast to the Wii U, the big feature is still optional. The new Donkey Kong Country Returns HD lets you disable vibration and use 2 more buttons instead. I see. Imagine SteamOS on the Switch. I would love to see some people mod the Switch to have that. That would be really cool. I think this is everything we have to say on the Switch, right? Personally, I'm excited. As a developer, I'm excited because the Switch is going to be more powerful, and because it's supposed to be backward compatible, I probably won't have to make a lot of changes for my games to be compatible, so I like that. I don't enjoy the trailer that much, but honestly, who cares, right? It's just my thoughts, and people don't care about my thoughts, so that's one thing. It's going to definitely going to be a fucking commercial success. Nintendo is just going to become even richer, that is for sure, and it's going to sell like hot cake. It's going to sell like I don't know, right? Comme des petits pains, on dirait en français. It's going to be incredibly cool. And look at that. Dashpong on the Switch will look very cool. Dashpong on the Switch 2 will look very cool. So I can't wait for that. That's the only thing I want to say. On Switch 2, not Switch 2. On Switch 2 too, I think. You've made a typo in the post. I guess it will look cool on the Switch 2. No. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the whole post. Look at it. Love the video with the Switch 2. Looks sick. Yeah. I put Hyperslice on it also, and it looks so much better. Hyperslice is just going to be perfect on the Switch 2. On the Switch 1, I'm going to struggle because Hyperslice has even more effects and lights and stuff, so optimization is going to be a pain. But on the Switch 2, it's going to be amazing. So you see, Dashpong would look so cool on the Switch 2. I guess it will also look cool on the Switch 2. Badumts. Anyway.